Okay, everybody. So we're going to start by looking at this little practice that we did today in class, and I had started it a while ago, and then the video cut out. So we're going to try again. So here we go. This is the passage, the ACT practice passage that we did. One thing that we talked about in class today was when you have passages like this, you can spend maybe just like less than a minute if you want to kind of skim over that just to see what it's talking about. The main thing is go onto the table, start to look at the titles that are on the table. Look at how it's labeled. This is comparing temperature with concentration of solutes, and they have different substances here. Then you just move on. On number 13, the best answer here would have been NaCl. And if you look at this, it says, according to Table 1, the concentrations of which of the following varies the least with temperature. So you're looking at concentrations and you're looking for the least amount of change in the temperature, okay? So here, or as the temperature changes, you're looking for the least amount of change in the concentration. You just got to look for the least amount of range, okay? Here it goes from 28 to 57, 72 to 165, 83 to 43, 29 to 77, 37 to 40. That's not much of a change, and this one's 90 to 8. This is the best bet because it has the least amount of change. So that's why the best choice there would be letter C. Here, it says the graph below represents the relationship between concentration and temperature, okay, for which of the following substances, okay? So here's the substances choices right here. If you look back at this table, you're comparing concentration with temperature. And as temperature goes up here, as it increases, what happens to the concentration? It's going down. So what you're going to go back and look for is as the temperature goes up, the concentration should go down for which of these substances. Well, here's your increase in temperature. And so these numbers over here, you're looking for the one that's going to go down, the numbers that decrease in concentration. This one does not. That one increases. This one increases. This one goes down, right? And if you keep looking across there, this one goes down as well, but we know it's got to be HCl because that's the only one listed there. So that one does go down. Concentration goes down. All right. Next, number 15. We got to this one before the video got out. The data in Table 1 support the conclusion that for a substance that as the temperature goes up, so as your temperature goes up, what's happening to the amount of solute that can be dissolved, okay? Or in other words, what's happening to the concentration. If temperature goes up, we already know that the concentrations can increase as well, or they can go down, right? We've already established that from a prior question. So they don't just increase, they don't just decrease, but they vary. Then you just got to figure out, is there a trend or a pattern, or do they just vary, but there's no particular trend? Here, if you're looking at this, these increase and they decrease with pattern. They do have pattern to them. They decrease by a certain amount every time, and these increase by a certain amount every time. There's definitely a pattern there. So your best choice would be C. It varies with a pattern or varies with a trend. Number 16, according to Table 1, HCl would most likely, so I'm looking at Table 1, and I know I'm going to be looking at HCl, okay, would most likely have been which of the following concentrations at 70 degrees Celsius? So 70 degrees should be about right here, right? So I need to look at these two values and try to figure out what would be about halfway between them. So if you take that, 45 minus 48, what is that, about 8 between them? So like halfway would be 4. So if we add 4 to 48, that's going to be around 52. And if you look over here, you just pick the one that's closest to 52, which is that one right there. Okay. And then finally, a scientist wants to dissolve at least 50 grams of NH4Cl. So I'm going to go over here and find this. Here's NH4Cl, and I want to dissolve 50 grams, okay? So that's going to be about right here, okay? So 50 grams, and A reasonable minimum temperature for that, it's got to be between 40 and 60, right? So our best bet is going to be letter D. All right. Hope this helps. If you have questions about these, please let me know. But we're going to be doing more practice like this over the next couple of weeks.